Hey guys, it's Official007 here, and today we're going to do the Phantom Tumble. That is a maneuver that I've been trying to promise the channel for a long time, and I figured I'd finally be able to deliver on it. I will first do the maneuver, then I'll talk about the tactics that go along with it when you're supposed to deploy this maneuver. Things need to be understood though. This is a last-ditch maneuver. This isn't your first move. This is a last resort. And then thirdly, we will basically look at the maneuver in greater detail, the mechanics of it, and then explain how it's executed. Relatively simple, I must say. You don't need full real controls for this. You don't need the whole setup like this. You can do this all with mouse aim. That's the beauty of it. Key thing, though, you need to have is your rudder mapped, your elevators mapped, and your ailerons mapped. That is the key things that you need. So without further ado, we'll kick this thing going. Skin will be in the link in the description down below. Now, the reason why I say this is a big deal maneuver when it comes to last resort, this maneuver may take your wings off, so you got to be very careful with it. There's a time and place for it. Like I said, it's a last-ditch maneuver. This isn't your first move. You can kind of see why I look at it as calling it the Phantom Tumble, because it's not really clean in the respect that it will necessarily yield something like, say, the inverted flat spin. It tries to aim for that, but due to the Phantom stability, it will try and fight and establish something else. So you can see right there how easy it is to tear off a wing. We'll go ahead and restart, but like I said, it is a very, very it's a risky maneuver. So the best thing you can do is sit there and learn the finer qualities of the maneuver. Now, it does come to afterburner at the end of the day and how you manage it, as the afterburner will dictate the circumstances as to how much you're generating the angle attack and pitch up, or pitch down, I should say, for the Phantom. We'll try and generate it one more time. We'll go from there. I have to apologize for the amount of videos that have been coming out. I know it's been nowhere near where it should be. I know you guys keep subscribing, and I'm really appreciative of that. But, you know, when you deal with life and all that, you know, university and everything like that, you have to, you got to prioritize things. So we'll have to go at it. And you can see it can kind of sustain. It'll bleed a little bit of kilometers an hour. Doing it right will determine basically how much you bleed off. The more angle attack you get in the negative will determine how much more speed is bled off. Like I said, it's a tough maneuver. Don't have enough airspeed, it's just gonna go right to trying to recover itself in the normalcy of it all. There we go. And you can really see that speed bleed. And then you can snap recover, opposite rudder. That's it in better detail when it works. Like I said, the goal is to try and master that. That's the ultimate goal at the end of the day. So let's briefly talk tactics with it. Now that you know what we're up against. And I'll try and do this in colorblind mode. So basically how this maneuver is going to be initiated is during the rolling, or during, I don't know if you can really say rolling scissors necessarily. Scissors at least is the stage you're going to look at. I wouldn't really worry about rolling scissors, considering the fact that you'll just use the thrust of the Phantom against your opponent, and over time that usually pretty much forces them out. If not, it puts them into a position where you can run. Honestly, as a Phantom pilot, you should be looking at your opportunity to escape and run away. MLD being, an exception in itself, but even then, you have your own quirks. You can transition faster than the MLD can in maneuvers. Like I said, it's another video I should talk about, but we'll focus on this one for now. So let's just talk about the timing. So I'll draw the opponent. We'll do this in colorblind mode to give you a good idea. Oh, that's a line. Get me out of here. I want to brush. There we go. While the opponent is initiating the turn back and scissors, and remember, the scissors is when both opponents are kind of serpentining with each other, trying to get back into position, trying to force the other one to overshoot. That is the time for it. And actually, let me draw a bigger one, just for the sake of the screen space. So now I'll draw the friendly. The time to initiate the maneuver is when you're basically making your move outwards to the outer edge. You're about ready to make your cut back in. And at that point right there is when you're going to initiate your maneuver to slow down. And that should get your opponent in front of you. Now, like I said, it's going to come down to a lot of things when it comes to the ability, whether or not you're able to engage the opponent, because the opponent might have enough airspeed or thrust and weight advantage. They might try and climb above you. You can virtually imagine me making a dotted line climbing up. Or he might try and catch you and try and circle in on you. The big point is this maneuver gives you that chance for some breathing room. If not a shooting corridor for you to engage the opponent briefly with guns, it is an opportunity for you to try and make your escape. So you can either pursue the opponent there, or you can just make your hasty retreat, get the heck out, reset the engagement to a parameter that's favorable to you. So that's ultimately what I'm trying to get away with here with this maneuver. It's that brief window, because, the Phantom doesn't get to do anything radically AoA-wise. I mean, historically, in the game, it's had the most AoA at this point. So that's something that should be understood, and something that can be embraced. I'll clear the page, and then we'll go ahead and talk about how to do the maneuver in finer detail. So I'll just basically use the mouse here briefly. The goal is for you to have same aileron, same rudder, and nose down. The reason why you're going to need to do the nose down is because the nose is going to want to pitch up when you're initiating right rudder and right aileron. The aircraft is going to try and keep positive G on the aircraft, and it's going to deny you that ability to really keep the airspeed up and to sustain the maneuver and get that AoA effectiveness. Like I said, this is a tough maneuver. You got to learn the finer details of the Phantom, where it works, whether or not you do it on a certain climb, at a certain airspeed. There's a lot of variables here you have to play with. That's the key thing about this. Controls are simple. Execution is the art. That's where you got to keep it in mind. So like I said, same rudder, same aileron, nose down, trying to keep that nose airspeed up. To counter, you will kick rudder opposite to your ailerons. So instead of right rudder, right aileron, you're going to have right aileron, left rudder. That will have the nose effect of it dropping the nose and then going into a brief inverted flat spin, and it'll tumble its way back. It's going to try and go to a normal flat spin because the band-aids here on the wings are going to try and get the plane to recover. And that's where you're going to make your recovery, obviously, by doing opposite rudder to the initial maneuver. Well, opposite rudder to the spin. We'll just keep it at that. The key thing is being able to adapt to the situation. knowing when you need to back off. If you know it's going to be too high G, easy thing to do, let off the burner, and that should get you out of the situation. But like I said, you got to play with it. I've only fine-tuned it to this point. There's definitely room for it to be improved. I'm definitely open to options here on this, but like I said, this maneuver is the best thing you got as a Phantom for your last ditch if you're in a low speed situation. I think the simple explanation, or the simple answer is don't get into a slow speed situation. But we'll go from there. So right aileron, right rudder, nose down. Opposite rudder. Like I said, they're still a beast with the beauty. Trying to perfect it. Because the maneuver has trouble at certain airspeeds, and it depends on how fast the angle of attack occurs relative to the decay of the airspeed. Because you're aiming for a certain margin where you can get the maneuver to yield you that sweet spot where you get the most angle of attack without destroying the airframe. That's the art of this maneuver. And like I said, you can see how hard it is. Like I said, it's a last-ditch maneuver. I don't encourage you to try and run up on an opponent and immediately start dashing around with this maneuver. It's pretty risky. You gotta be out of options. There we go. And you can see how fast it recovered there. Like I said, it's tough margins to work with. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys try and practice this maneuver if you have the Phantom. I don't know of any other aircraft currently that have this quirk to it. If you have any idea of some of those aircraft, I'm down to hear them. I don't really recommend doing it with the Mirage. The Mirage is more temperamental than the Phantom is with its wings, so don't attempt it in the Mirage. Don't even think about doing it in the Draken. Draken would not like that maneuver either. Honestly, the Phantom's got probably the strongest airframe I've seen when it comes to handling that kind of maneuver, so keep it with a grain of salt. Definitely is probably the safest time to do it is in a climb, but better check your positioning in your recovery phase afterwards, because it's going to go right to a flat spin quickly afterwards. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys hopefully soon with another video. So I'll see you guys later.